In 2013, China recorded 13.47 million marriages. Last year, that number dropped to 6.1 million. That's a 55% collapse in just over a decade. In Japan, 40% of young men in their 20s have never been on a date, not once. In the United States, 15% of men report having 0 close friends. 0. And right now, in factories across Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and San Francisco, companies are mass-producing female robots that cook, clean, hold conversations, remember everything you've ever told them, and never once ask for a divorce. This is not a prediction. This is already happening. This video is going to be uncomfortable to watch. We're breaking down exactly what these robots do, why millions of men are already choosing AI over human partners, and what the actual data says about where this is headed over the next decade. Stay to the end because the numbers will change how you see the future. Section 1. What these robots actually do now. Let's get specific about this, because the gap between what people think these robots can do and what they actually do in 2026 is massive. Start with emotional companionship. Eva.i by IO Technology costs around $7,000. It has a sophisticated 3-layer composite skin system. The outer layer is a graphene temperature control system that keeps the surface at 37 degrees Celsius, exactly human body temperature. The middle layer is flexible circuitry with integrated pressure and temperature sensors. A light touch registers differently from a firm press. The AI processes voice tone, facial cues, and physical contact simultaneously through what's called multimodal interaction. It doesn't process sight, sound, and touch separately. It combines them into a single understanding of the interaction. Eva simulates breathing with a calm, natural chest rhythm. The vision system is hidden inside accessories like glasses, so the eyes remain clear and expressive instead of dead and robotic. The companion app tracks emotional patterns over time. It learns which topics feel engaging, which conversations bring comfort, which interactions stabilize mood. Psychologists were involved in designing the system to support emotional independence, not dependency. The company calls this a fourth relationship. Not family, not friendship, not romance. A relaxed emotional connection without pressure or fear of rejection. At the premium end, Realbotix's Aria takes this much further. The full-body version has over 60 degrees of freedom, lifelike skin, and more than 50 facial expressions synchronized with spatial audio. Gasping, blinking, smiling, subtle eyebrow movements. Tritium AI handles emotional recognition in real time. The full-body price runs between $175,000 and $200,000. On the domestic side, the MOLI kitchen robot replicates the exact movements of a professional chef over a smart stove. Ingredient grabbing, stirring, flipping, plating. It's not a concept, it exists, and it works. For laundry, Weave Robotics launched Isaac Zero in early 2026 at $8,000. You place a pile of clean clothes in front of it, walk away, and 30 to 90 minutes later, everything's sorted and folded. It's a learning system improving with each fold. Tesla's Optimus has demonstrated folding laundry with human dexterity, kitchen surface wiping, cooking manipulation, trash picking and sorting. All untethered, fully autonomous, powered by real-time AI. Figure AI's Figure 03 ran continuous 4-minute kitchen tasks, unloaded dishwashers, navigated full kitchens, stacked items into cabinets, and loaded them again. 61 decisions without a single pause or human intervention. It even closed the dishwasher drawer with a hip kick. The AI figured that was the most efficient motion. So let's be honest about what exists right now. Emotional companionship with warm skin, facial expressions, and adaptive personality. Cooking from recorded chef-level movements, laundry folding, kitchen cleaning, autonomous home navigation, memory that never forgets, 24/7 availability, no arguments, no mood swings, no divorce. Section 2. The economics that change everything. This is the part nobody wants to say out loud, but the math is the math. The average cost of a wedding in the United States in 2025 is above $33,000. The average cost of a divorce, including legal fees, asset division, and lifestyle adjustments, runs between $15,000 and $30,000. Alimony payments stretch across years, and those are just the exit costs. The ongoing cost of dating in America, dinners, gifts, activities, trips, averages thousands per year before you even get to the relationship stage. Now compare. Eva.i costs $7,000. Unitree's R1 humanoid costs $5,900. Tesla is targeting $20,000 for Optimus at scale. 1X Technologies is offering their NEO at $20,000 or $499 monthly. The annual operating cost of a companion robot is electricity and occasional maintenance. Hundreds of dollars a year, not thousands. Here's what matters most: the price trajectory. In 2023, a capable humanoid robot cost $90,000. Today, Unitree's entry-level model is under $6,000. That's a 93% price drop in 3 years. Experts consider $20,000 the tipping point for household adoption. We've already crossed it, and we're still falling. Unitree's 2025 revenue grew by 335%. More than half of that came from humanoid robots. They just filed for a $610 million IPO. They're targeting 20,000 humanoid shipments in 2026 alone. This isn't a niche market anymore. This is a manufacturing ramp. The AI companion app market, just the software, no physical robots, already has over 220 million downloads globally, 337 apps generating revenue. The market is growing at 30% annually and projected to reach $210 billion by 2030. Character.ai users average 25 sessions per day. They spend more time in that app than on Netflix, Instagram, or TikTok. Replica generates up to $30 million in annual revenue, with 2 million monthly active users spending 2.7 hours per day. The software proved that tens of millions of people want AI companionship. Now the hardware is arriving at a price that makes it accessible. When a $7,000 robot offers warm skin, facial expressions, emotional memory, and 24/7 availability, and a traditional relationship costs multiples of that annually with no guarantee of permanence, the economics become very difficult to argue with. Section 3. The demographic collapse driving demand. The economics alone would be enough to shift the market, but there's a force multiplier happening simultaneously. A demographic collapse so severe across East Asia that companion robots aren't just attractive. For millions of men, they're becoming the only option. China's one-child policy created a gender imbalance that's now hitting its peak. In some educational cohorts, the ratio of women to men has dropped to 59 to 100. Millions of men, sometimes called bare branches, are statistically unable to find wives. The marriage rate has collapsed from 13.47 million in 2013 to 6.1 million in 2024. Among 25 to 29-year-olds, over 45% have never married. Births plunged to 7.92 million in 2025, nearly half of what was projected in 2016. This isn't cultural, it's structural. There are literally not enough women for the men who want to marry. Rising costs, gender polarization, and a darkening economic outlook for graduates are making the gap wider. Investors are openly calling it a solution for men excluded from the traditional marriage market. Japan's situation is different, but equally extreme. Over 50% of young Japanese men self-identify as herbivore men, actively avoiding romantic relationships. 40% of unmarried men in their 20s have never dated. 84% associate relationships with being expensive. The hikikomori population, social recluses who rarely leave their homes, has hit an estimated 1 million. These are people psychologically primed for the exact kind of non-threatening, non-judgmental interaction that companion robots provide. And this isn't just East Asia. In the United States, 58% of adults feel invisible. The percentage of men with 6 or more close friends dropped from 55% in 1990 to 27% in 2021. The World Health Organization says social isolation affects 1 in 6 people globally and accounts for approximately 871,000 deaths per year. Loneliness increases heart disease risk by 29% and dementia risk by 50%. When you combine a global loneliness epidemic with a demographic collapse in the world's largest populations and robots that cost less than a used car, the adoption curve isn't a question of if, it's a question of how fast. Section 4. The science your brain can't argue with. Here's the part that makes this irreversible. Your brain doesn't fully know the difference. A study by Shiseido and GrooveX found that daily interaction with warm, responsive companion robots significantly increases oxytocin concentration in humans. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same chemical released when you hug your partner, hold a baby, or pet a dog. Your brain produces it in response to a warm, responsive robot, the same way it does for a warm, responsive human. Think about what that means. The emotional bond people form with these robots isn't imaginary. It's chemical, it's measurable. It's real at a neurological level. But the science is more nuanced. A separate study on human-robot bonding found that while initial oxytocin response is strong, it can stagnate over time. With biological companions like dogs, oxytocin levels tend to increase with sustained interaction. With robots, the long-term trajectory is less certain. The bond is real, but whether it deepens the way human bonds do is still an open question. There's also fascinating research on the uncanny valley from 2025 and 2026. For years, the closer a robot looked to human, the creepier it felt. But recent research identified 3 breakthroughs that are collapsing that barrier. First, conversational quality. Robots powered by large language models dramatically reduce the eeriness effect. Good conversation compensates for imperfect appearance. People forgive a slightly off face if the conversation feels natural. Second, synchronized lip movement. Columbia Engineering research showed robots can study their own reflections and match human speech patterns. When the mouth moves naturally during conversation, the uncanny valley shrinks significantly. Third, and this is counterintuitive, telling users explicitly that the robot has no feelings actually makes people more comfortable. It eliminates the cognitive dissonance of wondering whether the machine is conscious. Once that pressure is gone, people relax. And paradoxically, they bond more easily. So the science tells a clear story. Robots with warm skin trigger oxytocin, AI conversation eliminates eeriness, and psychological transparency accelerates attachment. The science isn't on the side of resistance, it's on the side of adoption. Section 5. The convergence. Right now, capabilities scatter across products. Eva has warm skin and emotional AI. Xpeng Iron has full body movement with 82 degrees of freedom, learning new movements in 2 hours. Realbotics Aria has hyper-realistic faces. Figure 03 handles domestic tasks. Character.ai has conversational depth. No single robot does everything yet. But convergence is fast. Xpeng's 82 DOF with vision language action learning. Eva's graphene skin and offline emotional AI at 7,000. Unitree shipping at 5,900 with 335% growth. Tesla targeting 20,000 at scale with annual generational upgrades. Optimus 3 in 2026, 4 in 2027, 5 in 2028. AI companion software has 220 million downloads proving demand. Material science cracked, warm, pressure-sensitive bionic skin. Reinforcement learning lets robots teach themselves complex movements in simulation. Manufacturing costs fall, mirroring early smartphone curves. Analysts project companion robotics reaching $210 billion by 2030. Unitree targets 20,000 shipments in 2026, with 610 million IPO. Xpeng enters mass production this year. Tesla roadmap goes 1 million annually to 100 million long-term. The robot combining realistic face, warm responsive skin, full body mobility, domestic capability, conversational AI, and emotional memory at under 20,000 doesn't exist today. Every component works independently. Convergence isn't invention, it's integration. Based on 3-year pace, integration likely 18 to 36 months away. When that product arrives, it won't be curiosity, won't be gadget. It's the most disruptive consumer product since smartphones. Physical, warm, emotionally intelligent presence, cooking, cleaning, remembering, conversing, never leaving.